Hola gente, un día muy especial para mí. Voy a entrevistar a uno de mis artistas hablando de juegos de mesa preferido. Ustedes saben que yo dibujo y eso, y a mí me encanta su arte. De hecho, lo veo y me hace acordar a lo que yo quise dibujar cuando era joven. Así que es un artista que desde siempre me gustó muchísimo. Pero no voy a estar solo, como siempre. Va a estar a mi lado Martín Odino. Y como verán, no hubo presentación. Vamos a hablar de por qué no hubo presentación. Lo voy a contar más adelante, cuando llegue de Mico. No sé si lo pronuncio bien. Él me dirá después si lo estoy pronunciando bien. O Mihajlo Dimitrievski. Espero decirlo bien, o más o menos bien. Ahora, para ayudarnos a entender el idioma, lo vamos a invitar a Martín. Hola Martín, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué tal?
Lo conoce porque es un diseñador argentino, además de ser diseñador argentino de juegos de mesa, es mi intérprete en inglés preferido. Lo han visto en otros programas. Y ahora lo vamos a invitar a Mico, a que venga y ya lo tengan con nosotros. Somos pocos, ya irá cayendo la gente, pero bueno, nada, quería hablar un poco con él. Hello.
Hi, everyone from this side of the world.
Hello.
Al principio somos pocos y después se va sumando más gente.
Yeah, we have few people now, but people will be coming during the show.
I'm not sure how many people will come from Macedonia because it's 2:00 in the noon here, and in Macedonia, because we are a very rich country, and this period is reserved for drinking coffee. So everybody is drinking coffee now around 3:00, and they are going back to work, and at 4:00 they are going back to home. So thank you for having me. Just to know that it was an extra sacrifice from me to be in your show because I had to drink my coffee very fast.
Martín.
Ok. Dice que a esta hora allá en Macedonia es la hora del café, por eso quizás no venga mucha gente, están como en horario laboral, pero bueno, él está contento de estar acá y tuvo que tomarse su café muy rápido para poder estar acá, así que bueno, how should we pronounce your name so we don't make mistakes?
My name is Mihajlo Dimitrievski.
Mihajlo Dimitrievski.
Yes, and it's written and it's read as Micho. Ch, not, but it's okay. You get extra points for trying. So it's very flattering from this side of the world to speak to the people to the other side of the world, and they're trying to pronounce your name as it should be. And it's great meeting the people.
Okay.
So thank you for
we will try with Mihajlo and we will do the best we can with that.
Yes.
Bueno,
okay, so,
no hubo presentación en el programa, que es una animación que hice con IA. O sea, la hice con dibujos de IA, pero la animación es hecha por mí. Porque estás un poco en contra de las IA, ¿verdad? ¿Por qué estás tan en contra de las IA?
Lau was talking about that he didn't have a presentation on this program because it was AI made and you are against AI. So he's asking about briefly why you are against AI.
I'm not against AI. It's a nice way to say that I'm against AI. I will use more plus 18 words about it. Again, it's not what people think it is. I thought that it will be something like from Star Trek, but it's not. It's based on stealing, and it's proved that it's based on stealing. There is no other word, so everybody can understand. And it's based on stealing from artists, like we are, And if somebody is hurt from that, it's enough for me to, hear the other side. And if they are hurt, I will not use it. And I mentioned to Lau, we are on the crossroads now between a child which is small and wants to draw, it doesn't matter if he draws okay or not. And with multi-billion companies, they like to take this from us. And I'm always on the side of the child because I was child myself. And on the other side, everybody, we know all the talks. Probably you know all the talks. It's a tool like digital camera, like computer, or you're using iPad, or you're using Photoshop, etc. They are tools. Now with this, it's not a new tool. They are not changing the tool. They are changing the author.
Yes.
And I'm a simple man. If I see something made with generated images, collage of generated and stolen images, I don't like it and I don't buy it. It is as simple as that. If I see a game, sadly, made with the help of generated images, I won't buy it. If I see comic book made with that, I won't buy it. If I see a book with that, I won't buy it. I will try to explain if somebody if he's using it, like to Lao, and we'll try to understand that it's not about the money and about technology or etc. We as humans only have to wake up in the morning and eat and sleep and have children and grow society. But the art and everything else is that is giving life a purpose. If it wasn't art, I wouldn't meet you, Martin, and I wouldn't meet Lau. I would probably have more time to do nothing, and I would rather draw than do nothing. Even if generative art, as they call it, replace me someday, I will probably continue to draw. It's something like singing when you're taking a shower. I will continue to do that. So I won't play CD to sing instead of me. So I really, really don't appreciate using art from other people and stealing in general. And that's my general.
Más o menos,
thank you. I want to say that I agree with you in everything. Let me translate for the people.
Yes. Sorry, I tend because drawing is relatively solitude profession. I'm drawing all day in my studio. My kids are coming from time to time, and they make me company. But I'm always alone, and when I meet people, I talk a lot. So again, sorry.
It's completely understandable. No, dice Mihajlo que la IA está basada, es una tecnología basada básicamente en tomar ilegalmente, en robar el trabajo de otras personas, y eso ya de por sí hace que él esté en contra. No es una cuestión económica, sino más bien moral, o sea, porque hay alguien, aunque no lo sepamos, que sale herido por eso, que no es reconocido. Y hoy en día estamos como una especie de encrucijada entre alguien que la usa por placer o sin ningún fin económico y multinacionales que la usan para enriquecerse todavía más, digamos. Entonces, si bien él entiende la parte de la persona que la usa como sin fines de lucro, de manera inocente, una cosa lleva a la otra y van de la mano y es complicado posicionarse en ese aspecto, digamos. Y lo otro que dice también es que uno considera a veces la IA como una herramienta, pero no es una herramienta porque es un contenido generativo. Entonces, una cosa puede ser un iPad, una computadora, algo que vos igual estás usando y te está pidiendo algo de tu parte. En el caso de la IA no es así. Y fuera del aspecto de la IA, decía recién que habla mucho. Entonces, porque dibujar es un trabajo más bien solitario y hay en su estudio la mayor parte del tiempo. Y cuando está con gente, le gusta hablar y por ahí se sobreextiende. Digamos.
Está bien. Vamos a cosas. Yo me imagino que él lo sabe esto, pero hoy es un referente para nuevos artistas. Has hecho muchos juegos de mesas, miniaturas, Meeple con tus dibujos, de todo un poco. ¿Vos te imaginabas antes de haber hecho el juego Sprite of the North sea que tu vida iba a ser así o no? ¿Cómo era tu vida antes de este referente que sos hoy?
Okay. You draw and you are the artist of a lot of board games, which we love here in Argentina. We love your art. We love how you work. Lau was mentioning that you also did miniatures and you draw and you paint a lot of things. But what was the breaking point in board games? Not in art in general, but talking about board games, in which you were able to start living from your art and painting one game after the other, because today you are painted a lot of games. So how was that? How was that experience and that process to be able to dedicate yourself to the board game industry?
Again, I'm a simple man. If I love something, I love it, and I love drawing, and I love watching people drawing. One of the most terrible things from the previous subject with the AI is that we don't enjoy art anymore as we used to, because I love collecting comic books, I love watching drawings, and now we have to check everything because I don't trust everything. It's a terrible burden to not enjoy something that is relatively those are games, those are comics, they shouldn't be complicated. At least it's something that you do to enjoy. And again, I'm a simple man because I only like to draw, and I do a lot of drawings. I do books, I do commercials, I do movies, etc., etc. And a couple of years ago there was a lot of art pages with a lot of drawings, with a lot of fantastic artists, and it was the real, technology that helped us as artists, because in the past we had to, photocopy drawings or send originals, send to the post. You will get them back. You will not get them back. Copying stuff in color was, expensive, etc. But with the internet, we could show to everybody what we are doing. It's something like online portfolio, and I think it used to be one of the art pages. It's not art page anymore. Again, with previous subject, it was DeviantArt, and I think Shem saw some of my drawings, and he wrote me, and I tried to keep things, except the talking, relatively simple. Would you like to draw a game? And I said, yeah, why not? I haven't done that so far, and I like to try new stuff. I'm working on a book in the morning. Now in the noon, I will probably work on some illustrations. I will draw some Warhammer. I will paint some Warhammer, and in the evening I will draw board games, etc., etc. So it was something that was relatively new to me because I knew about Monopoly and about Magic the Gathering, but I knew there was something, but I didn't know there was so much. And again, I'm living on Balkans, and not a lot of people were playing board games. Now there is more. And after Shem called me, I think that maybe 80% of my job now is drawing games, and everything I do is in some form derivated from that. But again, I wouldn't draw board games if I didn't have experience in drawing books, comic books, illustrations, animation, concept art, etc. So everything will be. I love to draw. So if it's connected to drawing, I'm all in.
Awesome. Cuenta que él se hizo una página en DeviantArt en su momento, hace muchos años, porque era la posibilidad de tener como una especie de portfolio online, era una nueva movida para los artistas. Y aparentemente Shem vio sus dibujos ahí, le gustaron mucho, lo contactó, le preguntó si estaba interesado en dibujar un juego de mesa, si lo había hecho antes, no lo había hecho antes. De hecho, conocía muy poco de los juegos de mesa, sabía que existía el Monopoly, sabía que existía Magic the Gathering, pero no mucho más, no estaba como involucrado en la industria de los juegos, pero le gustan los desafíos, le gusta probar cosas nuevas, así que le dijo que sí, se puso a trabajar, y hoy en día los juegos de mesa involucran aproximadamente el 80% del trabajo total que hace él de arte, digamos, así que hoy en día está muy involucrado.
Bien. Hablando del tema ¿cómo es su forma de trabajo para dibujar un juego de mesa, digamos? Él dibuja con la computadora, dibuja a mano, un poco de las dos cosas, empieza por las cartas, empieza por el tablero. O sea, ¿cómo empezás a hacer un juego de mesa que no es algo que es un dibujo y nada más? Un poco te envuelvo dos preguntas.
Awesome. Talking more about drawing board games, how is the process, and how is different from other stuff that you paint, for example, comics or books that you mentioned, because board games has a lot of pieces, a lot of parts, and from where do you start? What do you draw first? And I don't know if you draw by hand or straight in the computer. What do you do first, and how's the process to complete a board game?
This is one of my favorite questions, actually, when I'm going to cons or when I'm meeting some of my friends who are illustrators or artists or comic book artists. I usually ask them the same thing because I want to know if they are screwed up as I am in this area. Whatever I draw is similar. I'm trying to finish it on time, and I'm very afraid that nobody will like it at the end. And the results come after a year probably, because when I see the people playing and enjoying the games, it's like, 1 year later everything is okay. I try to keep it as simple, as fun as possible, because again, we are talking about the magic. The people in the world, me, probably you, we all have problems. We all have life, other from games and toys and comics, etc. So no, we are trying to bring some color in the life of the people. And I'm not a businessman, I'm an artist. Actually, I'm making games so I can help somebody to have a good time for an hour or two. So the process is really similar, at least for me. You have to draw something. Even if I didn't draw comics or games, etc., I will probably draw, because it's not just my whole profession, it's something that I love. And I will probably drive taxi or work in the factory or in, I don't know, IT crowd or IT company or HR or whatever, but I will probably still draw. And my process is relatively simple. I sit on this terribly uncomfortable chair now. If you hear something cracking or see me fall down, it is because I have switched this chair a couple of days ago, because I have a big one, that's super professional. Which is, I mentioned that because the chair is part of the process, but it was pissing me off because I put my legs on the table, I swirl along a lot, etc., and my back started to hurt. So I tried to see how it would go with this lousy chair, and it is relatively okay so far because I can sit, straight, and I don't have to move a lot. But again, my process is relatively simple. I sit and I draw, and I try to draw stuff in the deadline that is presented at me in less period, because I'm getting older and my kids are growing, and there is a lot, obligations around the house and around the life, etc. I tend to be late a little, but so far I haven't, left a project undone, etc. So I try to draw as much as possible. Again, in the morning I'm drawing one stuff, in the noon I'm drawing other stuff, and at night I'm drawing third stuff. I usually work in my studio. As you see, this is the small portion or a corner of my studio. I'm lucky to live in a relatively big house in Bitola. Hopefully you will come one day in Macedonia and be my guests here in Bitola, which is second largest city in Macedonia. And I have a big studio. It's like 100 squares. I have a big house. The basement is my studio. I have a lot of toys and comics, replicas, Warhammer figurines, Funko figurines, posters, printers, and whatever. And this is the corner that I work in. Again, I'm using iPad because the pen is fantastic, and I'm using Procreate because I have bought the Procreate like 15 years ago, and now with this new iPad, I had it because I have bought it 15 years ago, and I don't like to pay monthly fees for programs. I like to buy a program and relatively own it. But I work a lot in my studio. But as I grow older and more tired, I'm like to be surrounded with people. So from time to time, I'm going in the upstairs with my family and I'm drawing with them. And that's it. There is no something magical about it. They write me a mail and they ask me, "Can you draw us a game with orcs? We need like 100 orcs and cover and board and 10 icons." And I say, "Sure, send me a list." They send me a list. When do you need it? Then I will put month or two just in case because I will most definitely be late, and I'm going through the list, 1 or 2 orcs. If I manage to draw a couple of orcs in a day, that will be great. And I will have time to draw Warhammer in next days, and that's it. It's a job. You have to do it because it's a job. But I'm trying to enjoy it as much because again, I'm the lucky one. I get money for drawing monsters and games and comics, which is a dream come true for me. I love that stuff. I collect that stuff, and I will draw it for free. So again, I'm very happy that I'm getting paid from time to time.
Bien.
Awesome. Awesome. Bueno, dice que el proceso es en realidad bastante simple. Él trabaja normalmente 100% ahí en su casa y bueno, tiende a demorarse un poco porque hoy en día ya no trabaja al mismo ritmo quizá que hace muchos años atrás, pero hasta ahora siempre entregó en tiempo y en forma. El proceso es normalmente que le dan una lista de componentes, le dicen cuántas cartas son, qué ilustraciones tienen que tener, cuántos iconos, el tablero, todo, y él pasa todo así como por separado, digamos, ¿no? Pero lo toma como ítems, entonces empieza sin por ahí un orden específico, pero va dibujando un ítem, otro ítem, otro ítem, otro ítem, y hasta que lo termina. A veces dibuja un poco en la tablet, usa bastante la tablet, pero a veces sube y dibuja, porque dice que el estudio él está en el sótano, donde tiene también sus cosas, sus colecciones, y por ahí sube y dibuja con la familia arriba, en un papel, digamos, y va como mezclando, no hay algo específico. Pero bueno, se considera muy afortunado porque puede vivir de hacer las cosas que le gustan y de dibujar monstruos y cosas de fantasía, cómics, libros y demás. Y que probablemente lo haría gratis porque le gusta mucho, pero bueno, tiene la suerte de poder vivir de esto, digamos. Bueno, y después contaba cosas un poco más chistosas, ahí como lo de la silla, que ahora está sentado en una silla común, porque si se sienta en una silla por ahí más profesional o que tiene ruedas y qué sé yo, se distrae, da vueltas, va y viene, pero en esa silla como que no se puede mover y está ahí sentado fijo, digamos.
Está bien.
I should just mention that I like when whoever asks drawings from me leaves me relatively freedom. We have to draw this army. Draw it as you like. Where I put myself in it. That's why I don't use a lot of pencils, digital pencils, because I would like to be as loosen up and funny, and everybody should have fun. If people are having fun with playing games or reading comics, I should have fun while I'm working on it. Again, it's a job. I'm not always in the mood to draw something that's put on my table. But again, I'm trying to have fun, and I'm hoping that I'm succeeding in that. That people that are playing, when they see art, which is one of the components of the games, maybe they will feel that I had fun doing that. That it's not something that you have to do it because we will kill you, but it's something that I was enjoying making, because again, I'm happy that I'm doing this, and I'm trying to be the best as I can be in that moment. So everything you see is best from me in that certain moment. Again, life is, sometimes you're not in the mood, sometimes you have other obligations, etc. But I'm trying to work as loosen up as possible.
Martín.
Totally agree. Lo que dice ahí es que normalmente a él, cuando le dan la lista, él quiso aclarar que no le suelen pedir algo como muy, muy, muy específico. Le suelen dejar que él haga lo que quiere, digamos, y como que ponga su impronta. Y normalmente le dan lineamientos muy generales de lo que necesitan, y como que él le pone la personalidad y todo eso, que le gusta hacerlo porque él entiende que si la gente después se va a divertir con eso, él se tiene que divertir haciéndolo para poder transmitir eso, pero que de todas formas entiende que es un trabajo y no siempre está como de humor y en la onda que el juego requiere, pero bueno, en esos casos lo tiene que hacer. No son muchos, pero a veces pasa.
Che, y dentro del tema, o sea que él no juega los juegos que ilustra, o no es necesario, más que no juegues, no es necesario jugar al juego para ilustrarlo, digamos. O sí, hay juegos donde él necesitó dibujarlos para ver cómo funcionaba, para ver cómo, ¿no? Como por ahí.
Okay. Did you play the board games that you draw, or you don't need to play the board games? You don't need to know how the game works to be able to draw it. It's no problem if you know it or not. How about that?
It's one of my problems, actually. I haven't played single board game so far. I'm terribly sorry about that. I know I have drawn them or what. Somebody has to draw them. For you to enjoy, I'm putting my life. I'm not playing board games, sadly. Once I have tried, with my kids and my wife, but we are living in relatively quick times, and I have deadlines. I have to finish everything. My kids have to go to school. We don't relax, and everybody should relax. And usually when we relax, we are trying to catch up what everybody was doing through the day, etc. And what is relatively fun and important is that we all live in the house. The kids are upstairs, I'm down, but again, I'm having a job and I have to do something in a few hours. And I'm terribly sorry that a lot of people asking me what is your favorite game, what is your favorite mechanism, and I really have no idea how to play a board game, and usually the people are approaching to me, they are trying to explain the game, etc., and I've just said, hold, I don't know how to play board games. Don't bother, don't waste your time explaining it, because it's wasted on me. I don't understand what you would say to me. Just tell me how do you want the game to look, because again, that's my area. Your area is to make the game good, because if the game sucks and the art is good, the game sucks. If the game is great and the art sucks, again, probably the game will suck. But if every component is as it should be, it will be awesome game, I guess. I'm more of a PlayStation guy, sorry. I'm now in the moment, and in a couple of last months, I'm playing Helldivers. I used to play Overwatch because I can play like 15 minutes and that's it. I have scratched myself with the games. It's okay now. My kids are enjoying the PlayStation more because I'm cooperating with Sony here in Macedonia, and I do get a lot of stuff, collector's editions and consoles, etc. I'm not getting them. I'm paying for them, but from time to time, I have certain easier to get some stuff, and my kids are enjoying it. But sadly, again, I do have a lot of board games. I do have a lot of games. I do have a lot of Warhammer figurines. We are trying to start playing that too, because Warhammer. And I would like to start to play board game, but that's for somebody who is, relaxed, who has time after a long week of work. And working at my house and at my studio, I don't have that, because if it's a holiday, it's not a holiday for me. If I have a deadline, I will. Yes, I get that a lot from people who like toys and comics, and I guess they will be happy here because I do have a lot of toys and comics, and I'm happy that my kids and their friends are enjoying it, because I will try to make them a playroom here in my studio so they can play Warhammer stuff. Hope Martin is here because he's frozen. And yes, sorry I haven't played board game so far. I will try. One of the things that we will try to do this year for New Year, because it's like 2 not working days for the holiday, for the New Year, and we are like making plans. Like we won't work for a month, which is not possible, but we will try to play Warhammer. We will try. I'm not certain that we will succeed, but we will try.
Ok. No, dice que lamentablemente no juega juegos de mesa. No solo no juega los juegos en los que trabaja, sino que en general no juega y no conoce prácticamente nada de juegos de mesa. Inclusive pinta las miniaturas de Warhammer, pero nunca jugó Warhammer. Le gustan las miniaturas, digamos. Va a intentar jugar Warhammer en las próximas vacaciones, porque dice que va a tener ahí unos días libres y va a tratar de hacerse un hueco para aprender y poder jugar, pero él considera que no necesita saber jugar el juego para poder dibujarlo. Él necesita que le digan lo que hace falta, lo que requieren de él, la lista de componentes. Él la hace y le pone todo su entusiasmo y su energía a eso, digamos, porque sí considera que sabe lo necesario para que el juego sea divertido, o que se vea divertido, digamos, pero que después es trabajo del diseñador del juego justamente hacer un buen juego, digamos, que él no lo necesita, y es más por ahí del palo de los videojuegos, digamos. Tiene la PlayStation y la usa cada tanto. Igual él piensa que los juegos de mesa son para gente que por ahí tiene más tiempo, le gusta dedicarle un tiempo a su hobby, y él siente que al menos hoy en día no tiene mucho tiempo, digamos. Lo intentó un par de veces en familia, pero siempre como que terminan eligiendo otras actividades, digamos.
Claro. Volvía... que me perdí escuchando. Y en esto de cuando empezaste, tal vez, ¿te fijaste en otras influencias de otros artistas que ya hacían juegos de mesa? ¿O no? Directamente te pusiste a hacer, tipo, ¿cómo es un tablero? Que no esté muy lleno no esté muy sobrecargado un tablero, o que sea más minimalista, como que buscó diferentes... googleando, no que haya buscado. Y si hay algún artista que descubrió de los juegos de mesa que diga, wow, qué buen artista que hay. Y fuera de los juegos de mesa, ¿qué influencias tiene eso? Pero eso sí que hacerlo después.
Okay. When you start working on board games, did you were influenced by some other board game artists, or did you look up for other board game artists to see how they work and what kind of things they do, what kind of decisions about how to make a good board for the game, or good cards, or whatever? And if you have an artist that also works in board games that you like, and you say this is good work.
When I started working on board games, I didn't know a lot about the board games, but I'm a fan of good illustrations and good comics, and I do love a lot of authors, and I still do, because it's not something that I will say these are my 10 favorite artists and the places are filled, so no more favorite artists in the world. I'm a comic book fan and I'm buying a lot of comics and a lot of books. I don't read them. Probably 90% of my comics and my books are left unread. I have maybe go around them once. I have a big collections. And again, I do have a lot of artists that I love. And I used to love, and I still do, the old Cartoon Network shows. Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter, etc., etc. So I'm grown up on comics and cartoons.
Oh, awesome.
And that is something that I'm trying to integrate it in my style. On the other hand, my colleagues are super awesome, because I wouldn't name anybody, but whoever you see from the top games, Lord of the Rings, I don't know, Game of Thrones, everybody from Simon Games, the guy who is drawing the Root games, forgot his name. He has super, not so detailed, but super simple drawings, etc., etc. Everybody has its mark on its drawings, and that's why I love them, because I love Simon Beasley, I love Hugo Pratt, I love, I don't know, Harold Foster, Bern Hogarth, Alex Todd, a gazillion of Marvel artists, gazillion of DC comic artists, gazillion of image artists, gazillion of Magic the Gathering artists. Everybody's super great, everybody has something to offer, but I usually love, somebody that's going through that. I will say, when you're scrolling on Instagram and you see some game that looks all the same, I don't like that. I like somebody that he has his personal touch on the illustrations, and when I see it, I know that's the author. There was a talks about me drawing the same way as I draw, which is true. I know I draw the only way that I know, and that's my style. And that's why I'm buying every book from Simon Beasley that I see. That's why I'm buying every book from Jack Kirby I see, because I really love those drawings. I can't explain why, but when I'm going through the book or the comic, it makes me happy. So it's enough for me to get them. So I'm happy because I'm working on something that I love. And if I didn't draw comics and I didn't draw games, etc., I will probably end up buying them, because every day I go out through a lot of books and a lot of comics, because it's something that's it's filling my batteries. Now, whenever I go to a trip, I buy a lot of comics and I buy a lot of toys, as much I can take. And every week I get a lot of comics and some toys, etc., etc. It's plastic and paper. I know it is. I know it's stupid. I know they are expensive. There is a lot of things you can do with those money. But on the other hand, it brings me joy and happiness. And about the authors, again, there is a lot of better artists than me that I enjoy, and I'm happy to know personally some of them. And I'm geeking out and I'm very happy, and I'm trying to make them adopt me, because I still enjoy art and good comics and good books. And the good art is enough for me to buy whatever. If it's a chocolate with great art on the chocolate, I will buy it. If it's, I don't know, paper towel, I will buy it if it has great art. So I'm sucker for great art of space marines, monsters, I don't know, funny cartoony stuff, etc., etc.
Bien.
Awesome. Sí, dice que él básicamente disfruta de artistas en general, digamos, y los usa, obviamente, un poco de influencia y disfruta mucho de apreciar ese arte, y que en muchos artistas de juegos de mesa él ya ve influencias de otros artistas que por ahí no son del medio de los juegos de mesa. Mencionó al artista del root y mencionó otro artista del cual él le ve como marcas ahí de su trabajo. Mencionó a Simon Beasley, que yo no sé quién es, pero es una influencia de él.
Es el que hacía Lobo,
mencionó,
¿no?
a los...
Hacía del cómic
Mencionó
Lobo.
a los artistas de Cartoon Network, que a él le gusta mucho la animación de Cartoon Network. Y bueno, básicamente él aprecia el arte en general y consume mucho arte del medio que sea, digamos, por ahí no solo de cómics o juegos, y sino también por ahí si hay algún arte bueno, no sé, en un producto cualquiera del supermercado, también le va a gustar, también lo va a apreciar y también lo va a comprar, digamos, porque en general le gusta pagar y comprar el buen arte. Por eso tiene tantos juguetes, miniaturas y cuestiones así, digamos.
Y de los artistas clásicos, ¿cuál le gusta, por ejemplo? De artistas en general. De cuando era chico, cuando estudiaba, me imagino que estudió arte o algo.
¿Pero qué sería artistas clásicos?
Si hay algún artista particular que haya sido su influencia, digamos.
Okay. Lao asked. Lao asked about outside board games. If you have any artist that has influenced you when you were young and you were learning how to draw, and maybe if you studied art, we don't know if you studied art, but if you studied art, which artist was your influence when you were young?
I'm influenced even now. After we talk, I will probably go around some comic and I will be like, wow, this is awesome. Squirrel Girl, great comic book from Marvel, etc., etc. Yeah. I haven't finished art school actually, but I always wanted to draw. I was in the printing college. If I finish the college, I will be probably engineer in printing. You have a printing factory and your machine broke out, and you will call me and I will fix it because doesn't pull the color or I don't know, etc., etc. And it wasn't something that I liked. It's connected in some way with art, but no. And for the artists, I enjoy the Renaissance artists because they put the rules, how the body should look, those spectacular scenes, etc., etc. I do enjoy when I see something drawn like some massive battle with every character involved, etc., etc. I'm not too much in modern art because I don't understand it. Again, I like popular art, comics, again, animation, etc., etc., because that's something that brings me joy. But on the other hand, again, I will like those Renaissance artists, Leonardo, Michelangelo, etc., etc. I will never draw like them, or I will never know anatomy like them. And hopefully Martin will hear me and he will be able to translate. Okay.
No problem.
Not a problem.
Batman or Superman?
Superman, it's not... There is a joke with Batman. He is a rich guy who is beating the shit out of the small pocket thieves, and he is leaving the big companies in... he doesn't touch them, so I have a little problem with that now when I'm grown up. And on the other hand, he's super cool because he's dark character. He's in the night like Bat, etc. And the Superman is something maybe as people should be caring about those who are not as powerful as you are. And he's technically a god, but he's care about people. Superman. I will go with Superman.
Superman.
There's a great
video game. ¿Qué juego? What the game? The video game.
I'm playing Helldivers now because it's a funny game. I don't know if you have seen or read Starship Troopers, the movie or the books. It's loosely based on them because we humans are exporting democracy to other planets, which is relatively fun presented. That's why I like Warhammer too, because it's some form of representation. Hi, Martin, again. You won't translate the part.
Hello, I'm back.
No, don't worry. He was asking me about do I like Batman or Superman more? Batman is a rich individual that beats, the small thieves, and he doesn't. He is owner of the company, actually. From this adult perspective, I think he's an asshole, actually. And on the other hand, the Superman, now that we talk, he's God among people, and he's taking care about the normal guys. He's taking a cat from the tree, etc., etc. He doesn't have to do that. He can rule the world. So I'm probably Superman, even though the Batman is darker and grimmer, etc., etc., and he doesn't kill it for a better effect. And he asked me about the games I'm playing, and I mentioned the Helldivers because it's based on Starship Troopers, which is extremely fun movie about society and citizen and not citizen, who can have right to vote, who doesn't have right to vote, and
Yeah, the protagonist from Starship Troopers is from Buenos Aires.
Yes. Now that you mentioned, yes, the guy what was his name? Rico.
Yes.
Rico, yes. I will watch it today. Now when we talk. So yes.
Estaba diciendo ahí que vos le preguntaste si prefiere Batman o Superman y al final hoy en día Batman le parece medio un garca porque es un tipo muy rico y que a pesar de que ayuda a la gente está medio como por encima y qué sé yo. En cambio Superman le parece que un tipo que a pesar de que es un alienígena superpoderoso, que yo labura y está más como entre la gente común, digamos. Batman está siempre como para otra cosa y qué sé yo, así que es más de Superman. Y mencionaba Starship Troopers, que es una película que le gusta mucho, y yo me acordé que el protagonista es de Buenos Aires.
Es de Buenos Aires.
Entonces, no sé si la viste vos esa
Starship
Troopers, pero
Martín,
a mí me gustó, una buena película.
Sí, es muy buena. Cuando habla de cómics, ¿solo habla de Marvel, DC o también de cómics independiente o de cómic europeo o yo qué sé, Hugo Pratt, Manara, Moebius, etcétera?
No, pero eso ya lo dijo, ya lo dijo.
Ah, ¿lo dijo eso? Ok. O sea, no es que solo el cómics americano.
Eso ya lo dijo, tiene de todo y le gusta de todo. No, para nada.
¿Conoce a Hugo Pratt?
No, he was asking about your comic collection, and you don't only have Marvel and DC, you have a lot of different brands.
I have everything.
¿Y cuál es el artista preferido de cómics? Así, el que digas, Dios.
Everyone you mentioned I'm fan of those, especially Mebius, Corto Maltese, Manara. Those are alphabet of the comics. I'm lucky to have dozen of issues, dozen of editions of those comics. Living in former Yugoslavia was, we were a communist country. We didn't have a lot of Western stuff, but we did have a lot of comics. We did have a lot of Italian comics, and we did have a lot of European comics. And by a lot, I mean a lot. And I'm on that question. I know, and I love a lot of comic book artists. I think that Hugo Pratt was somewhere he was Italian, who was living somewhere there in the South America, I think. Or I'm not certain, or he has been there. So I have a lot of comics. And that one that you mentioned, especially Mebius or George Giraud, even his fantasy opus or his Western opus, I have everything. So I do enjoy every comic. It's funny that I have a lot of books and a lot of games and a lot of movies at my home, but you forgot about them. And you go through the interview or you talk with somebody and you're reminded that you have them. So now I will have to go through Mebius comics after this now. I think I have them all. I'm not certain, but I have them all because there was a publisher in Croatia who published all of his comics, and I have them all. And Martin is off again.
Sí. Martin, voy a ver si encuentro a otro amigo. Le anda mal internet. Bad internet. Other friend. One moment.
Don't worry. I teached at...
Igual...
I can talk in English, I guess. Most of the people, if any, can understand me. I used to teach in a movie college. Subject that I was teaching was storyboarding in movies and commercials. And one of the things that I said to them is that we are living, the world is now a global village. We are all connected, internet, etc., etc. And it was super great. Martin, you will have to fix your internet.
Yeah, okay.
I will start.
Hopefully it's fixed now, because I don't know what problem has my computer, but he's keeping kicking me out from the stream. I don't know why, but now I'm from the cell phone. Let's see if it works better.
I worked in a movie college. I was teaching storyboards, and on subject, I was explaining to the students that world is now global village. We have internet, algorithms, everything is connected. We can talk with people around the world, etc., etc., and everything is great. And that is in capital, in Skopje. And I was back in my hometown in Meeple after that lectures that I had that year. And there was no power for like 2 days. It was some sort of electric defect in the factory here. And you see how the global village part of the world is going down. You can't do anything. You can draw. You can draw on paper because you don't have lights. I can't scan stuff. I can be in contact with people. I can call my kids, etc. I can put my phone on the charger, etc. So we are taking things for granted. And again, the things happen, especially when you have something important or interview. So don't worry.
Ok. Sí, contaba, hay una anécdota de que en un momento ahí en su ciudad se fue la luz por 2 días, y de repente ahí te das cuenta de que toda la aldea global en la que vivimos no se cae muy fácilmente, digamos, y por ahí tenemos muchas cosas que las tomamos como por dadas, y en realidad no son así, digamos, en un momento de otro puede cambiar, y bueno, nada, que entiende los problemas. Mihajlo, I wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if you know some Argentinian artists from comics or from anything.
Breccia.
Absolutely.
Breccia.
Absolutely, yes. When I had Corona, I remembered a lot of names, but after the Corona, I can't remember a single name. I guess that's from the brain fog, or how do you call it? There is one comic, I think he's from Breccia, or from Horacio Altuna. No, I'm not sure.
Altuna, sí. Altuna, okay.
The comic. Just a second.
No problem. Fue a buscar un cómic porque no se acuerda del artista, digo.
Sí, te digo, artistas internacionales, si querés ahora para que le digas. Breccia es uno, Altuna, que lo acaba de nombrar él, es otro, Oliveri, que hizo mucho de Batman.
It is one of my favorite comics, so yes, I guess you see.
Álvaro Mayor, Breccia.
Yes.
Breccia, yes.
Sí. Fantastic comic. So
it's okay,
yes, I know
the
a lot
comic.
of
El padre y el hijo, decirle que hay dos. El padre y el hijo.
Yes.
El padre trabaja más con collage, digamos, el padre in the comics. Es muy, muy bueno.
Yeah.
Muy bueno.
Father and son, they both draw, and they have different styles.
Yes. I know. I love Álvaro Mayor. Luckily for me, those are every episode in this book. So again, I'm trying to buy, because as you mentioned, I live in Macedonia, and it's hard to get issue by issue, etc., etc. But on the Balkans, there are publishers. We live in the same country, and I do understand their language, Serbian and Croatian and Bosnian, etc. And when they have some book, that has every episode. I can buy it and I can have it. These comics Alvar Mile used to come out in the magazine, and I collect them all, because I love the art. It was, you could feel the stink of the soldiers or the heat of the weather. That's why we as artists love when the humans are drawing stuff, because it's not anatomically maybe correct. Maybe their noses are overdrawn, or etc. But you can feel what the artist is trying to explain. There was one panel from Hugo Pratt from Corto Maltese that it was
my preference.
It was explosion on the graveyard, and it was drawn like just the black lines from the silhouettes from the monuments and from the Corto, I think. And it is a terrible drawing, like Frank Miller's covers now. But
yes,
he does. There is a lot of emotion and stuff and movement in all the drawings. I can't explain it. I just see it that way, and it's something that I speak about that now. It's something that gets a reaction from me, and if it gets a reaction from me, it's good reaction, bad reaction. If you have no reaction from something, that's bad. But the comics are excellent.
Oh,
you can talk about comics with me all day about every comic. I probably have read it or saw it someday. And I buy a lot of comics. It doesn't, I don't have to read them. I just want to have them. Maybe it's better to have them and not read them than want to read them and don't have them, I guess.
Yes, of course.
Let's keep it here.
Bueno, mencionó ahí mucho sobre los dibujos de Corto Maltés y Breccia y cómo a él le gusta la forma en la que expresan ciertas escenas y que en el Alma Valor ese se puede ver como las sensaciones de los personajes. Entonces, eso es lo que para él distingue y por qué a los artistas les gusta ver dibujos de personas, porque no es una persona la que va a poder como expresar todo eso así tan crudamente. Y mencionaba una escena donde hay una explosión como en un cementerio y a él le gustaba mucho el uso de colores y a pesar de que a veces no son dibujos técnicamente buenos en cuanto a anatomía y ese tipo de cosas, sí expresan mucho la sensación, digamos.
¿Hay algún artista de Macedonia que él me recomiende para ver? ¿Algún artista de historietas, no de cómics?
Did you recommend for us to look, what artists from Macedonia do you recommend for us to look out and to check their work?
We don't have actually many artists here in Macedonia. I'm the one of the rarest. There are a couple of those, but sadly we don't have that industry. We are paving the path for the younger generations because, again, we are a small country. Mm-hmm. And there is not a lot of living from the art. They used to tell us when I was, especially, I can tell from my experience, that it's better to finish some college. I understand them now. I understand my parents because no parent wants his kids to suffer through life. Everybody wants to go through life as easily as possible. And everybody was thinking that state job is great. You have a state job, you're safe. You can take credits, you can go to vacation, etc. And the art field was not. You weren't encouraged to do art because you wouldn't have money, which is technically true, actually, especially in small countries like Macedonia. You can't print a lot of books. You can print like 500 books. You won't make a big profit from that if you don't do some criminal thing. I don't know. You get paid for 1 million books and nobody will buy them, etc. But we're a small community, and I can't mention anybody because we are not so much at the market. I have a couple of colleagues that are great in concept art, and they are drawing backgrounds for cartoons and movies, etc., but not something that is, you can find in the bookstores or in the comic book stores. They are my friends actually.
Buen momento.
And again, we are in the moment of paving the path for the younger generation. Hopefully, we will succeed, even though a lot of young people are going to new technologies, and we are having some problem now with that, because I have a company here in Macedonia. I'm part of the company. We are doing a lot of kid stuff. I'm art director and a partner there. I think that we are making something from South America now. In the moment, we are trying to do something.
Okay.
I think it's with Colombia. I'm not sure, but we are trying to expand on that market too, because we are on the Balkans in the moment. But we are trying to go around the world, and we are making a lot of books, a lot of toys for small kids. The plushes, etc. And we are making short animations and stuff like that, and it's relatively popular here. And but when we have bigger projects, we are having troubles with finding people, and we are trying to outsource from the neighbor countries, Serbia, Bulgaria, Greece, etc., etc. I would like to recommend somebody except me, but there is not a lot of stuff from Macedonian, sadly, a lot of stuff from Macedonian artists in the world. I would like that to change somewhere in the future, and I'm trying to, as Gandalf did in Lord of the Rings, because he is having the flaming ring, etc., to light the fire in the heart of the people. I'm trying to influence people to do more stuff. It's going hard, but we are starting somehow. Again, there was not a lot of board games. Now there is in Macedonia. There was not a lot of cartoons. Now we are paving that path too. There was not a lot of comics, but there are now some comics. But we are still in the moment not at that level that I can recommend somebody and you will easily find it. So sadly, that's its situation. Hopefully in the future, we will try to change that, and I will call you and I will send you the comics there. So, and even better, you will find those comics or books in your comic stores, in your bookstores. That will be
awesome. That will be awesome. Yes.
And if you're not, you will come in Macedonia and I will give you stuff from my friends.
Ok. Dice que no hay muchos artistas en Macedonia, es un país muy chico, no tienen industria ni del dibujo y del arte en general, entonces es muy difícil para la gente poder vivir del arte, y si no pueden vivir del arte les cuesta mucho producir cosas, digamos. Él es un caso como muy raro, muy, muy particular, porque pudo acceder al mercado internacional, y que una cosa que mencionó antes, y justo ahí yo me estaba cortando, yendo y viniendo, es que él no terminó los estudios, entonces directamente se puso a dibujar y empezar, pero allá es muy común que los padres quieran que sus hijos tengan un estudio y terminen un buen trabajo, un trabajo estable, entonces no hay como mucho incentivo al arte en general, y eso hace que, bueno, no tengan industria, pero que su generación está como trabajando bastante para que las generaciones más jóvenes empiecen a involucrarse un poco más, y que ya hay algunos trabajos en cómics nuevos y en animación y en cosas así que antes eran industrias inexistentes ahí en Macedonia, y que normalmente él trabaja en una empresa donde es director de arte y hacen cosas para chicos, pero cuando necesitan proyectos grandes, les cuesta mucho conseguir mano de obra dentro del país. Tienen que ir a países vecinos y ver ahí qué pueden conseguir, digamos.
¿Y para cuándo el cómics de él? Porque ya está, es un cómic de él se vendería en todos lados. Que si es por falta de guión, le conseguimos guionista, ¿eh?
Lau asked about a comic book from you, from your authority. I don't know if it's written by you, but draw by you.
The last one I did was a couple of years ago. The publisher from United States, they got rights to the Claim game, if you know it, the small game with goblins, yes, etc.
Yes.
And they wanted to publish a comic, and they asked me if I know somebody to draw it, and I said to them, I have a lot of work, but why not? Because it's my game. I draw the game. and we make a couple of issues, and that's the last comic. I'm not certain what happened to the company because I'm not seeing it for a year, but I did have a couple of issues. There were 4 issues, the paperback, the small ones, American size, and after that they printed the trade, the collected editions. So that's the last comic, the claim book comic books.
Okay.
They are English versions, and I think you can probably find them in every better supplied shop in the world. I think that they were in the Forbidden Planet, and even a couple of issues come here in Macedonia. So that's something, and I think that's first time that Macedonian artist is, not in something that's a book with a lot of artists in there, but first book, when you have a writer and an artist who is, from Macedonia. Artist is from Macedonia, writer is from United States, etc., etc. So it's something that's probably first time that's on American market. I'm not sure, but I'm relatively certain about that. So that's one point again for me. Hopefully it will bring a lot of it will give a perspective to young people, because we have a lot of artists here in Macedonia, but again they are mainly in the stuff you don't see, concept art, video games, etc., etc., but nothing that something that will make them stick out, like comic book, etc., etc. Again, I guess the financial problem is there, because if you draw comic, it's a long process. It's not something that you can do it in a week, but it will be a comic done in a week. Something
Yes.
to look like it's supposed to look, there is a long period. So you have to be with money from the start, or you have to have a stable influx of money so you can work on that. Again, I'm working on a couple of stuff, so I could draw that comic book. They pay me, etc., and I have it printed, everything is great. But it's not something that everybody is willing or have time to do it, especially in this in these areas. For example, in Serbia and in Croatia, there is a lot of comic book artists. The Serbia, they are mainly working in the European comics, and the Croatian guys are mainly working on American market, and they are excellent. Hopefully, we will catch them up someday, because they are our friends, especially my friends. I have a lot of friends from there. And I hope that one day we will succeed in that area too. And again, maybe you will get, as I have Argentinian artists in my collection, maybe you have some Macedonian artists in your collection.
That would be great. Dice que el único cómic que dibujó es el cómic del juego del Claim, porque él es el artista y en un momento la editorial le vendió los derechos a otra empresa para hacer un cómic, y le preguntaron si conocía a algún artista que lo pudiese dibujar, y él dijo, si yo hice el juego puedo hacer el cómic, digamos, así que lo hizo, pero después no supo bien, o no sabe bien hoy en día en qué está esa empresa o qué se hizo. Supo que el cómic se comercializó, pero no sabe bien qué es de la empresa hoy en día, digamos. Y que bueno, la industria del cómic en general es bastante compleja por la forma de trabajo que tiene, el ritmo de trabajo, y que normalmente necesitas o tener un gran dinero disponible antes, o entrar en estas empresas mucho más grandes y que es más industrial el trabajo, digamos. Entonces, espera que algún día podamos, así como él tiene libros de artistas argentinos, podamos tener acá algún libro de algún artista macedonio, digamos. Así que, bueno.
Él quería hablar, habló muchas veces de que Macedonia es chico, de como que tiene... ¿Le afectó las dos cosas que pasaron cerca de él a Macedonia? Tanto si quiere hablar del tema, la guerra de Rumania con Rusia, y lo que pasó con Grecia, que tuvo la debacle económica. ¿Le afectó todo eso a Macedonia o no? No le...
Okay. Do you think that Macedonia as a country was affected by wars and other political conflicts that happened in the countries nearby Macedonia, surrounding Macedonia? I don't know if you think that that's something that affected you or your work or your country.
I think that everybody is affected, because with all the technology we talked about and we speak now through internet, etc. Everybody will think that people are smarter, and you see that there is a wars in Ukraine and Palestine and Africa and everywhere. And when you see there was a couple of shots from Ukraine, I think there was a college center, like something or in Argentina or in Bitola, everybody is drinking coffee and everybody's having fun talking on their mobile phones, etc., etc. And the other day, that's gone. So it's we as humans are relatively stupid because we have everything to live in peace, etc., etc., and we are going through killing each other. I like Warhammer because it's a fiction, big warriors, big monsters, etc. But it's a fiction. It doesn't exist and it shouldn't exist, if you ask me. Let's leave wars, etc., etc., to comics and games. Something that we can pretend to do and not to live to do. It's not about taking sides, but the wars, etc., and everything. It just have to stop because again, we are humans and we are people. I cannot take sides. Everything has to stop now. And again, we are. You can be in the super mood, and you wake up in the morning. Now this is a great day, shining day, etc., etc., and you will see something on internet, and it will screw up your day because Ukraine is like 4 hours from Macedonia. I don't know. Middle East is like 10 hours or 15 hours from Macedonia. Everything is close, and somebody from somewhere. So again, I would really like our quarrels to be about has a better player in Overwatch, or who has more games, or why Marvel sucks and DC doesn't, or vice versa. But again, we are living in the world as it is, and I guess everybody. It's a little cliche and stupid, maybe, but if everybody tried to do things better, if everybody was playing more games and reading more comics, maybe the world will be better place, I guess, because I have met, we are assholes actually, the guys who are reading comics, but we are cool assholes, nerdy types. I would like to have more time to play games than to actually go somewhere and do terrible stuff. And I really hope that the world will change, because we are wasting resources on stupid stuff, and maybe someday we will be more smart. And yes, everything affects everything. Again, even this talk we do now, it have affected me to go through my comics and read some comics again and rewatch some movies, etc. So yeah, I guess everybody's connected, and we are taking everything for granted actually. And the world is really small place. You can get everywhere in one day. So.
Yes. Sí, dice que básicamente la guerra obviamente que lo afecta y los conflictos que hay alrededor, pero siente que lo afectan de la misma manera que podrían afectar a cualquier persona en el mundo, porque en general la guerra es algo que obviamente él no está de acuerdo y cree que los humanos por ahí son medio estúpidos porque tienen todo para vivir en paz, pero de todas formas siempre existió y siempre van a existir las mezquindades y los conflictos por territorios y demás, y que para él le gustaría que nuestro mayor conflicto sea discutir si está más bueno Marvel o DC, pero en general, bueno, hay otras cosas pasando. Y que bueno, nada, cree que básicamente las personas deberían tratar de conectarse un poco más y tratar de comunicarse un poco más. Y que bueno, que todo afecta a todo porque para bien o para mal, ahora él dice que se quedó con ganas de mirar de vuelta algunas películas y leer algunos cómics después de la charla con nosotros. Entonces, traspolando eso a la guerra, a veces de repente vos estás en tu país a miles de kilómetros de distancia, pero saber que hay otros lugares en conflicto, no sé, o te arruina el día o te hace estar como muy mal anímicamente.
Sí, sí, sí. Bueno, ahora me agarró la duda. ¿Marvel o DC? Me iba a despedir, pero me agarra la duda. ¿Si Marvel o DC?
Now, the big question now is the final question, because we are closing the streaming now, but is if you prefer Marvel or DC?
In less period, neither, because I'm reading a lot of image books now, because, they have a couple of issues and it's done story. And from the other side, I did enjoy the Marvel, not Marvel, the DC. What was the name of that imprint? Preacher, Sandman, Vertigo run of the book. I love Vertigo run of the books, but again, I don't have the patience and time to collect every issue of X-Men, having troubles again with everything, etc., etc. So in the moment, I'm enjoying image books because they are finished stories and I can read them. That's it. They don't have so image. If we talk about American comics, in the moment.
Dice ninguno, porque si tuviese que elegir, en realidad se queda con Image Comics, que hace historias por ahí más cerradas que él puede leer y terminar, y lo que es Marvel y DC cuesta mucho estar al día y mantenerse de todo lo que sale y qué sé yo, así que prefiere Image.
Bueno, sé que le gusta el heavy metal, así que le recomiendo que escuche Hermética, una banda de Argentina, muy buena. Y que si algún día viene a Buenos Aires, tengo un dibujo para él.
Oh, yes, great. Thank you.
O si yo voy a Macedonia. Y que bueno, nada, que gracias por haber estado acá, que este es un canal abierto para todo el mundo, que siempre que quiera estar por alguna razón por la que él quiera, él puede mandarme un mail y bienvenido está al canal, como todo el mundo, o amigos de él o todo el mundo, digo, como que el canal es un canal abierto para todo el mundo, así que nada, muchas gracias por haber aceptado una entrevista que yo sé que es difícil, porque ahora hay un juego menos que se está dibujando.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for being here and for giving your time to us to answer our questions and not drawing, because if you are here, you are not drawing. So thank you for that. And Lau wants to recommend you a band from Argentina which is called Hermética, because he thinks you will like it because you like metal.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so if you ever need anything from us or want to share something with us or want to ask something to us, you can simply send an email to Lao. He will be happy to aid you in any way he can. So and me too, of course.
That goes both ways. If you need anything from Macedonia, maybe I will send the jar of Ivar. That is pepper, which is cooked and then cooked again and then cooked a couple of times more, but it's very tasty. So if you come to Macedonia, I won't be have to take travel to Argentina. It will be easier for me, and you are more welcome to come here, because if I can choose between you coming to Macedonia and me sitting on the table and drinking coffee, I will always choose not to get up from the table. So you're welcome in Macedonia, and if you need anything, you can write me a mail or whatever, and I will check the band that he mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much. Bueno, dice más o menos lo mismo, que podemos ir a Macedonia si queremos, nos va a preparar unas comidas ahí típicas, y que, bueno, lo que necesites, Lau, también le podés mandar un mail y quedar en contacto y demás, y que va a escuchar Hermética, digamos, así que...
Bueno, me quedo con miles de preguntas por hacer porque es lindo hablar con un artista. Pero bueno, nada, que nos tenemos que despedir. Quiero que siga dibujando juegos, así que nada.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to talk to an artist because you are both artists, and we could still talk for hours, but we also need to work. We also need to go back to our lives, and you too. So yeah, okay. I need to go back to designing because I'm a game designer. I need to go back to my prototypes. So thank you very much, and hopefully we will talk again soon.
Yes. Wishing you all the best, and we will be in touch.
Of course, of course. Vamos a estar en contacto.
Bye.
Goodbye.